Now on CoastTV News.
How about another round? Bars and restaurants in Dagsboro get the news they were hoping for at tonight's town council meeting. Bone dry. The drought on Delmarva continues and there isn't a drop of rain in sight. What it means businesses in the area. Tent City. The homeless have a new home in Lewis, at least for now, why this plot of land was available. And drivers wanted. Ocean City looking for ways to get more bus drivers to their coastal town for the busy summer months.
And we have summer-like temps expected for tomorrow, but even drier days ahead. And we're pretty parched thus far, and it looks like it's not changing anytime soon, to be honest.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Last call stays as is in Dagsboro after an ordinance to change the rules is voted down. Good evening, I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to News at 11. We begin tonight with a vote that had some bar and restaurant owners on pins and needles. Dagsboro Town Council met Monday to debate a hot topic. When should businesses be allowed to sell alcohol? The town was considering shortening the time frame by nearly 4 hours, but instead, as CoastTV News reporter Brendan Conroy shows us, the decision went in a different direction.
Last call for Dagsboro will not be changing anytime soon.
Everybody's just having a good time.
The town council met Monday where ultimately they decided to vote down an ordinance that would have shortened the window in which alcohol sales are allowed. So where do the rules stand? Bars and restaurants can start serving booze at 9 a.m. and they have to stop serving at 1 a.m. David Elliott owns Delmarva Billiards and Sports Bar, and he's thrilled with how things have shaken out.
From a financial perspective, you know, if they do change the times, it's going to be a burden on everyone, not just us, every other establishment. But if they do keep it in place, and which we hope they do, you know, it would be a relief.
While the hours haven't changed, fines for violating the current rules have been beefed up. Any establishment caught selling before or after the set times will be hit with a $1,000 fine for the first offense. Second offense is $2,000 and a week's suspension of their liquor license. Third offense, $5,000 and a 6-month suspension.
The town should isolate the problem directly, as we've discussed before, through the penalty system that's going to be brought up tonight.
While the fines are something for business owners to pay close attention to, Biani Cordoba, who owns La Dama Mexican restaurant, is just relieved the hours are staying the same.
No, I'm so happy. You know, I can't emphasize anymore to God and to everybody that supported for having the hours stay the same. Nothing will change.
For some, tonight's ruling will be a reason to raise a glass and toast to good fortune, an outcome influenced by dozens of people who went to a town council meeting to fight for their right to party. Since the hours in which businesses are legally allowed to sell alcohol are not changing, that means places like Delmarva Billiards and La Dama are able to stay open the same amount of time. But that just means they'll have to be extra careful to not sell any alcohol after 1 a.m. or they might be facing some pretty big fines. In Dagsboro, Brendan Conroy, CoastTV News.
Another day without rain and another business affected. Matt Carter runs Quest Adventures. Usually during this time of year, he's busy setting up bonfires. But since a burn ban was ordered, things have slowed down for him.
It's the season of a lot of our locals trying to enjoy their time. And we've had to probably cancel about 5 to 10 fires since it's been in place.
Carter is still taking reservations for when the burn ban does in fact lift. But on that note, let's take a look outside into Ocean City right now. We're going to check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams, who's joining us now. And Paul, you said earlier today, it might be a little while.
Yeah, and you know, my long-range outlooks are not looking so great. It'll be updated even more so by Thursday. But right now, we're in this dry pattern, and it doesn't look like it's changing anytime soon. And when you begin to kind of think about it, for the entire month, we've had nothing. We should be at 2.7 inches of rain just for this month alone. Now, we also take into consideration how much should we be in, as far as rainfall is concerned, for the entire year. We should be at about 35.8. We're about almost 5.5 inches shy of our normal rainfall total for the entire year. So that just tells you what kind of an impact this drought pattern has had. So we're in severe to moderate drought status throughout all of Sussex, going into Kent County and to our south. So The drought is a real thing, Charlie. It's not just something we're just saying on TV to be fancy and all that stuff. And unfortunately, this bad part of the weather is going to continue.
Thank you, Paul. And this brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know what concerns you most about the drought. Let's take a look at the results from earlier this evening. Here's what we've got so far. And fire risk is the top of the list for everybody. That's up at 60%. Water supply, 26%. Environment, 12%. Economic impact, just 2%. If you want to go vote in this, you can at coasttvnews.com or use your mobile app. People in North Carolina still dealing with the widespread damage nearly a month after Hurricane Helene slammed parts of the U.S. The federal government there for weeks helping with recovery and repair. Now FEMA announcing more help from those affected. Maribel Gonzalez tells us about the agency's new program.
North Carolina grappling with the destruction left behind by Hurricane Helene.
Sadly, we have 95 storm-related fatalities over 21 counties.
The federal government approving more than $300 million in assistance and debris removal. And now more help is on the way.
The government will create a brand new program for assistance.
The Biden administration announcing a new community liaison program where representatives will serve as, quote, trusted messengers between FEMA and affected residents. This new aid coming as the Tar Heel state is not only dealing with damage, but also combating misinformation.
Donald Trump is coming to Asheville today. I'm asking that he not share lies or misinformation.
Former President Donald Trump continuing to fuel inaccurate claims about the federal response to Helene.
In North Carolina's hour of desperation, the American people answered the call much more so than your federal government.
Such claims North Carolina's Democratic Governor Roy Cooper dispels and says are getting in the way of helping those who need it.
Many survivors of this storm lost everything. They want help. And they want the truth.
Last weekend, a North Carolina man was arrested for allegedly threatening harm against FEMA employees there to help with Helene recovery.
To truly help people, we must check party politics at the door.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
A little closer to home, early voting kicks off on Delmarva this week in Delaware. You can hit the polls starting Saturday. That's October 25th, and it runs through November 3rd. A little bit different in Maryland. Friday, October 24th, that's the first day, but it ends earlier on the 31st. If you're driving through the Circle in Georgetown, you might notice that the cupola is back atop the Sussex County Courthouse. It had been down since May for refurbishment, including replacing wood rot and repainting some of it. Now it's back up there for the foreseeable future. If you live in Lewis and your water is a little discolored, don't worry about that too much. According to the Lewis Board of Public Works, ongoing construction on Kings Highway may cause discolored water and low pressure, at least for a couple of days. This temporary situation is the result of maintenance activities. And if you ride the buses down in Ocean City, have you seen them taking a little longer than usual to pick you up? Well, on Tuesday, the Ocean City Council debated new ways to hire more part-time bus drivers for next summer. According to the town manager, Ocean City had fewer part-time bus drivers this year compared to last year and says the town is considering increasing pay and stepping up recruitment efforts, something one local hopes will get more staff hired.
I wish they would, just to make sure that, everybody gets to where they need to go.
The town council hopes that by adding these incentives for part-time bus drivers, that there will be more for next summer. A home for the homeless, at least for now. Take a look at this map we're going to show you. It has the spot on there where Old Delaware State Police Troop 7 used to be. That was torn down back in June, but now that same plot of land is being used to house those in need. This small tent city has caused a lot of conversation online. As Coast TV reporter Emma Aiken shows us, it's the first thing to be put on that property since the old police building was demolished.
A few dozen tents line this lot on Route 1, a temporary home for homeless individuals like Cody Blackwell.
I've been here since it started up. It's been a really good experience so far.
Mike Agnew with Code Purple, the nonprofit that helps the homeless, helped move these people from the woods next door to these tents.
And remember, we started this because of a sanitation issue. So we knew them living in the woods without trash facilities and without toilet facilities. It was becoming a health problem, right? That's when we contacted the state and said, look, we need to address this issue.
Teros is the name of this 45-day temporary tent village, and right now it can hold 28 tents for 14 men and 14 women.
Teros is a Greek word that means courage and determination. So I think it's a great name for this camp.
Agnew says each person has a permit to be here and that structure and rules are critical to the village.
But everyone will have a case manager in order to remain in the camp. And that's encouraging because we're not just, like I said, we're not just housing people or sheltering people, although that's important, particularly in the winter months. We're actually helping them to move along in their journey.
This tent village will be open until November 30th. After that, the people living here will move to a shelter. In Lewis, I'm Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Agnew says the tents are specifically on the one edge of that property. It's because he says the space where Troop 7's building used to be, that's going to be used by DelDOT in the future. This week in Seaford, plans for 2 commercial buildings and a warehouse on North Market will go in front of City Council. On your screen now is the general area where that council will hear the presentation for and the Seaford zoning ordinance, and they will consider a resolution to accept $330,000 in grant funding for a study on emergency contaminants there. We're just getting going this evening. Still to come, shake up at the House of Mouse. Disney making a change to leadership, what that means for the future of the company. And next, the trip of a lifetime. A Delaware woman takes us back decades to a voyage on a ship that once was revered, but now soon will be sitting at the bottom of the ocean.
And whether you're located on the bay or anywhere else throughout Delmarva, we're looking at a 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook that's looking quite grim with hardly not a drop of rain in sight. When will the rain finally show up? I'll let you know in 60 seconds.
Find your better night's sleep for less at Johnny Janosic. Shop now and get a $300 MasterCard reward card on select brand purchases. And we'll haul away your old mattress for free for a limited time only at Johnny Janosic's Mattress World.
As a math teacher, Matt Meyer knows that Delaware's tax system isn't adding up. So he has a plan to fix it. Give middle-class families a tax cut, invest in schools, and lower costs. But Mike Ramone's plan gives tax breaks to the ultra-rich, which could cut education by nearly $175 million. Matt Meyer knows these numbers don't add up. He'll make state taxes fair so families can get ahead. Vote Matt Meyer for governor.
Find your better night's sleep for less at Johnny Janosic. Shop now and get a $300 MasterCard reward card on select brand purchases. And we'll haul away your old mattress for free for a limited time only at Johnny Janosic's Mattress World.
The lack of rain has now become a significant problem for folks with businesses that depend on rain, farmers, those that are dealing with horticulture, just everything, because you never really realize how much you're depending on rain until you have a significant lack thereof. But that's what's happening across Delmarva right now. Our Spicer Brothers camera in Salisbury, still very, very beautiful looking day and night, and we'll fall back to 49 degrees with mostly clear skies. Here's a look at the temps. We're in the 50s right now. For example, 56 in Milton, 52 in Redden, 54 in Georgetown. We're at 50 degrees even, for example, in Delmar. And the winds, relatively light, but coming out of the west for the most part. Now, initially we're coming out of the south, and we're looking for warmer conditions going into tomorrow. In fact, we could actually get close to a record high for tomorrow. But our radar, not only showing that we have no rain, we don't even have cloud cover. It's just that empty of a situation with a trough just knocking on our door just to our west. This trough, much ado about nothing. Much bark, no bite. In other words, not likely to produce any kind of rain for us because it's just that parched and dry. You got to realize we're in a severe to moderate situation as it pertains to drought conditions right here across our neck of the woods, and at the very least abnormally dry to moderate to severe drought. So that's where we are. We're at 3 different levels of drying out that's occurring right now. And then when I take a look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, we have 2 of them. We have a 6 to 10 and an 8 to 14. So I wanted to really go forward and see what is it looking like. it's looking like it's staying very much drier than usual. So days without rain has been actually 24. We're going to clock 25 for tomorrow. The record is 34 days, and to be honest, I would not be surprised, not shocked at all, if we surpass that record, which was set in 2001. Our forecast for Tuesday will peak at about 80 degrees, just around lunchtime or just thereafter. But we're not expecting any rain. Now, we are expecting a few clouds, so that's going to be helpful, but not by much. I mean, we're talking about 49 in the morning time, for example. Then we'll climb into the 50s briefly. Then that'll dissipate. Wednesday, we're not looking at any opportunity for any kind of precipitation whatsoever. I checked the future rain. I ran the map again, and I'm running the model literally in front of you right now. Zero, not even a sliver or a bump of any kind of rain. Tuesday, for the most southern portion of our viewing area, we're going to be in the 70s for Tuesday afternoon, mid-70s. Then as we go into Wednesday, we'll start off in the 50s, and we'll end up in the 70s again, but we're not seeing not even an inkling of cloud cover or moisture. Taking a look at your apple picking forecast, because apples are always good. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm projecting all the way out, and we're still looking at temperatures, although they'll fall into the 60s, we're not expecting for anything to give us an opportunity for things to change. So even as we go right along this last bit of forecasting along the beaches, we're not seeing any cloud cover much, particularly as we go into Thursday. Here's a look at your Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodel extended forecast. Still no rain in sight, Charlie.
Thank you, Paul. We appreciate that. New tonight, a Newark woman, 93 years young, sharing her story of an incredible trip on a ship that was shiny and new when she was just 21. It's now set to be claimed by the ocean, but as Tim Furlong from our sister station, NBC 10, reports, there's one last tale to tell.
The cruise was out of this world.
Erna Mulrine knows how lucky she was to have saved the $285 it took to buy her ticket on the SS United States' second Atlantic crossing. She was just 21 when her parents dropped her off in New York City, and then she sailed for 5 days across to France en route to meet up with her family in Germany. The ship broke transatlantic speed records in its day and welcomed 4 U.S. presidents, loads of celebrities, and at one point even transported the Mona Lisa.
It was out of this world. You might think you were on Rodeo Drive in California.
Erna is now 93 and lives in Newark, Delaware. She kept every possible souvenir of her voyage in perfect condition and has shared her memories and her photos with the ship conservancy over the years. She loved her all too brief time on board.
They had a beauty salon, everything that you could imagine. And they had a swimming pool outside on a deck, and then they had a swimming pool inside in case it rained.
The plan is to pull the ship out of Philly and down the Delaware River to go right past here in Delaware City, Delaware. They're going to take it to Virginia, where it'll be stripped of all its hazardous materials. And then about a year later, it's going to go to the Florida Panhandle, where it will become the world's largest artificial reef. The timetable for the ship leaving Philly isn't yet clear, and it's not clear if it will float well or get through any of the built-up mud. It hasn't moved since 1996. And to be clear, Erna doesn't like the reef plan. She liked the proposal to restore it as a floating luxury hotel docked in Manhattan. She will always choose to remember the ship as the grand lady she knew in the 1950s.
You would think you would go see the Queen Elizabeth. It would be like her palace.
Tim Furlong, WRDE, Coast TV News.
And next, food for artificial thought. Elon Musk planning to use your tweets and content to train his AI, which has a lot of people up in digital arms.
We're bringing bright hope to Delaware by creating opportunity. As Secretary of Labor, I focused on preparing the workforce of tomorrow. And in Congress, I've worked to strengthen career and technical education. Jobs that might not require a 4-year college degree, but do require skills. With jobs like these. Together, we can build the workforce of today and tomorrow. I'm Lisa Blunt Rochester, and I approve this message because our opportunities should be limitless.
This is my legacy. The Camry legacy is earned through decades of continuous improvement. For timeless cars and lasting memories. Right now, buy a Camry with 3.99% APR. This is my legacy. Toyota, let's go places.
Foul odor
odors, discolored water? Are you running out of hot water more quickly? These are all signs of sediment buildup in your water heater. And as the buildup becomes more severe, it can even cause a premature tank failure. Flushing the tank periodically can prevent these problems. FH Fur has you covered. Get a water heater flush for $49. That's right, a complete water heater flush for only $49. Act now and get a plumbing inspection free.
877-CALL-FUR. FHFur.com.
I voted for Larry Hogan when he ran for governor.
I did twice. But Larry Hogan for Senate? I can't do that.
Because Larry Hogan would give Republicans control of the Senate.
Republicans could pass a national abortion ban.
More tax cuts for big corporations.
Republicans would have the power to name justices to the Supreme Court.
I don't want Republicans to have control.
I voted for Larry Hogan before, but no way this time.
I'm Angela Also Brooks, and I approve this message.
Download the CoastTV News app on your Apple or Android devices. This is CoastTV News at 11.
Call it X, call it Twitter. Either way, some of the social media companies' users are up in arms after the company changed its terms of service to let its AI train on everybody's posts. That includes your post, artists and others, creative roles. They're concerned about their work being used to train computers that could someday replace human creators entirely. Other users say they're concerned about personal information in their tweets being used that way. The terms say any users who continue to use X on November 15th will be agreeing to the updated terms. It's unclear at this point if users can opt out of the posts being used to train AI. In business news, the Girl Scouts making a money move, the organization raising membership dues 160% over the next 2 years. Now that sounds like a scary number, but here's what it actually means in practice. The National Council voted to hike prices from $25 to $45 in 2026, and in 2027 dues will increase again to $65 per scout. That's still a smaller increase than the $85 originally proposed. Membership dues are the organization's largest source of revenue. In 2023, they generated $38 million from nearly 2 million members, but the Girl Scouts have faced cash flow issues stemming from the pandemic, inflation, and changing consumer behaviors. Another major shakeup at Disney. The company is changing its board chair for the 4th time in 3 years. Monday, Disney announced Chairman Mark Parker will step down at the end of the year. Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman will replace Parker starting in 2025. Gorman will be tasked with finding a new CEO following Bob Iger's departure. He called choosing a new CEO, quote, critical. Iger returned as CEO last year after a brief hiatus. Disney said Iger's replacement will be named in early 2026. Coming up in sports, Lake Forest field hockey looking to earn their 3rd straight Henlopen victory in a battle with Carvel Academy. And next, infant deaths on the rise, one study connecting that to abortion bans in some states.
Here's a look at your golf forecast. Listen, it's going to be another dry one for us, but overall golf conditions pretty good actually. A chilly start with a warm finish, high of 80 degrees, sunny and warm.
It starts with our oldest family tradition, artisan bread topped with the finest hand-sliced meats and cheeses. Add in the freshest locally grown produce, but don't forget the In our house, it's not just a hoagie, it's a primo.
We know Angela Also Brooks got caught taking illegal tax breaks, owing $59,000 in back taxes.
And she's now getting a deal. No penalties and a 25% reduction in interest.
Now the New York Times reports Also Brooks lied on official mortgage documents, and Also Brooks was sued twice for not paying her bills. Thousands in water, sewer, and other expenses. What scandal will they report next? Merlin's Future is responsible for the content of this advertising.
If your family's anything like mine, life brings in dirt and messes.
Touchdown! Yes! 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 Oh!
Sit back, relax, and leave the deep cleaning to the pros. Your home isn't clean until it's Stanley Steamer Clean.
Stanley Steamer gets your home clean and
Now is the perfect time to buy a Jeep right here at Preston Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. During the Jeep Adventure Days sales event, get 10% off MSRP on any 2024 Jeep Gladiator. But don't wait. This deal ends on October 31st. Shop our entire inventory of over 100 Jeeps at millsborocjr.com. So don't miss these amazing deals during Jeep Adventure Days at Preston Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Cars cost less with Preston.
My brothers and I were blessed with loving parents. They paid into Social Security and Medicare their entire lives. Now, some politicians in Washington want to take away the benefits seniors across Delaware have earned. I'm Sarah McBride. In the Senate, I helped lower prescription drug costs. In Congress, my priority will be making it easier for people to pay their bills and afford to retire. I approve this message because Social Security is a promise after a lifetime of hard work.
It starts with our oldest family tradition, artisan bread topped with the finest hand-sliced meats and cheeses. Add in the freshest locally grown produce, but don't forget the In our house, it's not just a hoagie, it's a prim.
In Sussex County, if you want to get a flu shot this fall, here's a free opportunity. BB Healthcare will be holding free vaccine clinics this week for people aged 18 to 64. You can go to Georgetown on Wednesday at Crossroad Church or the Rabbits Ferry School on Robinsonville Road in Lewis Saturday. BB says you do not need to register. And sticking with health news, new research shows hundreds of more infants have died than was expected in the U.S. in the year and a half after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The new data suggests the impacts of the abortion bans and restrictions enacted by some states after the decisions have been large enough to affect broader trends. In the months that infant mortality was higher than expected, rates were about 7% higher than typical. It was an average of 247 more infant deaths in each of those months, and about 80% of those additional infant deaths could be attributed to birth defects. The research was published Monday in JAMA Pediatrics. Despite recent outbreaks of infections and preventable diseases like measles and whooping cough, fewer kindergartners are getting their routine vaccinations. That's when compared to pre-pandemic levels. That's according to a new report from the CDC. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither takes a look at the data and has more on the potential implications of this decline.
It's an alarming trend. During the 2023-24 school year, national kindergarten coverage with state-required vaccinations dropped to 93%, down from 95% between the 2019-2020 school year before the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's enlightening and not surprising with what we've been through in the last 4 years.
Dr. Jason Newland with Nationwide Children's Hospital says many infectious and preventable diseases aren't as prevalent anymore thanks to routine vaccines, but some are making a comeback. For example, this year alone, a total of 269 measles cases have been reported in more than 30 U.S. states as of October 17th. The CDC says 88% of those patients were either unvaccinated or their vaccination status is unknown.
Measles can be extremely dangerous, leading to life-threatening illnesses.
The CDC says vaccination is also the best defense against pertussis, but preliminary data shows more than 5 times as many cases have been reported at this time of year when compared to the same time last year.
Maintaining our vaccine rates, whether it's measles, whether it's pertussis, whether it's influenza, whether it's COVID, will make our society and our most vulnerable healthy and our future healthy.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good evening, sports fans. Tonight, Caravel Academy eyeing their 4th straight win as they traveled to Lake Forest. Caravel with the corner here, Caitlin Judy drives it across. Haley Haynes tips it, but a Lake Forest defender fouls, preventing the goal, earning the Buccaneers a penalty stroke. Haynes steps up and lifts it perfectly into the corner of the net. Caravel strikes first. Second quarter, Lake's Millie Wilkie finds Rylan Mikulski with the reverse sweep, and Lacey Houston is on the rebound, slamming it into the backboard to tie the game at 1. To the third, Spartans corner, Carmela Gannon to Ella Robbins. Spin dodge right here, then pass to Bryn String, who finishes it with the help of Ashley Robbins. Leg up 2-1, but Caravel wasn't done in the fourth. Haynes evades two defenders, then drills this drive to the left corner of the backboard. Game tied at 2 to 7-on-7 overtime. Caravel on the move with a chance in the circle ends up with Abigail Lum, who pushes it left corner of the cage. Caravel wins 3-2. To the Bayside girls soccer final, Bennett taking on QAC. Game tied at 2 with under 3:15 left in the second half. Bennett's Gracie Core with the game winner to help the Lady Clippers earn the conference title with a 3-2 win. That'll do it for sports. Have a great night.
Take your favorite radio station with you wherever you go. Download free today.
In Maryland, we live closer to the halls of the Senate than anywhere in America, but often it feels they're on another planet. Because when it comes to what's impacting your life, Washington's nowhere to be found. We can take on corporate price gouging, causing prices to skyrocket, expand access to affordable prescription drugs, keep our neighborhoods safe, and protect your hard-earned retirement. I'm Angela Also Brooks, and I'll be a senator focused on you. That's why I approve this message.
Johnny Janasik's multi-million-dollar inventory sell-off is back. Right now, save up to 70% on leather, upholstery, bedrooms, dining rooms, and more. Plus, 0% APR for 24 months. Save big on floor samples, one-of-a-kinds, overstocks, and special purchases. Thousands of items are in stock and available for immediate pickup or local delivery. Shop often for the best selection. New inventory arrives weekly. It's the multi-million-dollar inventory sell-off. Going on now at Johnny Janasik.
Welcome to First State Chevrolet, your commercial truck headquarters on Route 113 in Georgetown. We carry the full lineup of Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and low-cab Ford models. Our sales staff is professional and ready to earn your business.
Save up to $19,000 on this 2024 low-cab Ford dump body.
Save up to $16,000 on this medium-duty dump truck.
Stop in or find us on the web at firststatechevy.com.
We are First State Chevy in Georgetown, where we put you, the customer, first. Together, let's drive.
Delaware Electric Cooperative is committed to helping the communities that we are proud to power. We offer the lowest electric rates in the state and give millions of dollars in rebates to members during the holiday season. Each year, we offer hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding to local nonprofits. Safety programs teach students how to be safe around electrical equipment. And through educational opportunities and scholarships, we are empowering the next generation of co-op members. DEC is proud to keep the lights on, but prouder still to invest in the communities we serve.
As a math teacher, Matt Meyer knows that Delaware's tax system isn't adding up. So he has a plan to fix it. Give middle-class families a tax cut, invest in schools, and lower costs. But Mike Ramone's plan gives tax breaks to the ultra-rich, which could cut education by nearly $175 million. Matt Meyer knows these numbers don't add up. He'll make state taxes fair so families can get ahead. Vote Matt Meyer for governor.
It's National Apple Day. Apples have been around for millions of years, but some historians believe that the ancient Romans cultivated the fruits. Today, there are more than 7,000 varieties worldwide.
I love apples, to be honest. Our Tidal Health camera in Salisbury, 52 degrees, will drop to 50 and clear skies by late tonight. Our umbrella giveaway winner, by the way, is Jamie Pyle of Lewis. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. We are bone dry. We've been bone dry. We're going to stay bone dry. And just take a look at our weather line. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Baird, Mandalis, Broadstead, and Federico. Now, when I show you this forecast, keep in mind that we're looking for 81 for tomorrow, then 78 for Wednesday. Then finally, here's a look at the 10-day forecast. Pay attention to this one thing. You notice how we're going to challenge a record high tomorrow? We'll be warm on Wednesday, but we drop off a cliff on Thursday. We're not going to be freezing or anything like that, but it's going to feel so dramatically different. You would almost think that winter comes knocking on our door, but fear not, my friend. We'll warm back up by Saturday, and then until next week, we'll warm back up above the norm once again, and unfortunately, Charlie, still no rain.
Keeping an eye on it. Thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.